Welcome to Fargo Talks Fargo, an unofficial podcast on the FX television series. Fargo Talks Fargo is hosted by me, Bill, and my buddy Charpie.
Beep bop boop beep bop boop cheese.
Those get better every week. This season of Fargo Talks Fargo is sponsored by Fargo Brewing and their Wood Chipper IPA. It's tasty, delicious, and doesn't taste like ground up people. Also, this year is sponsored by Audible.com. Visit audibletrial.com/Fargo Talks Fargo and tune in later for a book recommendation and more details about how you can get a free trial to Audible. Because listening to books is awesome.
Listening to books is the shit.
Yeah. I'm not sure about your beep bop boop. You turn into a robot every week.
Well, I didn't have anything prepared for that 1 second sound effect, and I just that was off the top of my head.
That's all right. So I'm going to just make the admission now, well, because I'm not going to edit it out, that I've got a glass of brown water because I unfortunately ran out of beer.
You're in the Fargo brown water Navy right now.
Yes, exactly. So I don't know. We've had some brief discussion about this episode, what we want to talk about, what we think we're going to do, and we're not sure it can be broken up into some of the ways we've talked about everything.
Yes, I agree. I feel, and we said this in the hot dish too. Every episode, I feel like we say this is my favorite episode of the season.
Mm-hmm.
But this was definitely my favorite episode of the season. Do I dare say that? I don't know. It was, the story-wise, it was awesome, and that's always the case. But I think, Bill, you and I agree that from a production level, direction, photography, those types of things, this seems to have been sort of the pinnacle of the season so far.
I think so. There was a lot going on. I just loved the way everything was framed very well, and just the amount of texture we got out of things. I could sit there and take screenshots of lots of scenes and say, oh, that was my favorite. I really like that one. But I don't know if I would call this my favorite episode.
You don't think so?
Agreed. I don't know if it was my favorite.
Did you see Stephen King's tweet about this episode?
Mm-hmm.
Where Stephen King stated that this was the best episode on television in the last 3 years.
I don't doubt that it's fantastic. I'm just not sure. I have to I'm getting to the point where I feel as clouded as you're talking about, and I need to step back and think about it next, on another viewing. But because I feel like we've got so much building momentum, and we feel more like I had mentioned last season as the tumblers are all clicking into place, and the amount of momentum we're building is pretty big. I mean, some people I don't mean that this show was fast. I just mean there's a lot of stuff starting to click, and characters are disappearing, so there's not as much, there's only so many showdowns left, so you don't wonder what. I mean, go through the main characters dead. Rye, gone.
Dead.
Simone, dead.
Dead.
Dodd, dead.
Dead.
The old man, Otto, dead.
Dead.
Yeah. The Gerhards aren't doing so good.
So the main title of this episode is Loplop.
Yeah, and I think we were
L-O-P, L-O-P.
I think we were pretty spot on with our assessment of it. Was that it's definitely. I mean, we open on Peggy having the most semi-lucid breakdown I've ever seen on TV.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that I think this was her best episode.
I think this was the Blumquist's best episode, and they've had a lot of great episodes.
Yeah, I think so.
This episode really brought to fruition, I think, the Coen brothers, their whole sort of flavor, their whole universe, their whole genre. It brought out that terrifying yet hilarious sort of Coen brothers type feeling throughout the entire episode. I mean, when you're watching the Blumquist, you're both afraid because you don't know what the outcome is, but you're also laughing at the same time. And who can pull that off? How many other storytellers pull that off that you know of?
Yeah, it's like a
There's a
flipping coin
couple,
of light
but
and dark.
I mean, you can count them on a handful. And I would say the Coen brothers are one. I would say P.T. Anderson is one.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, maybe. I wouldn't say Wes Anderson because he's not as dark, but he has that same sort of.
He's just quirky.
Yeah.
But either way, I think you're right about a lot of that, and I do think it is that. It's this equal parts light and dark, and it's like a constantly flipping coin. I mean, 1 minute you're watching Peggy literally drive a knife into a guy, but you're somewhat laughing about it because of the manner in which she does it. And you're like, deep down though, that's
she
nuts.
does it in kind of a sweet mother-like way.
Like, yeah, I mean, like, just like, or like she's just checking the temperature on a roast, but we know that's not, I don't know. Have you figured out she doesn't cook, really? I just thought of that right now.
Well, she cooks hamburger helper.
Well, and beans. And she reheats stuff. I'm not, yeah. Not that she has to, I'm just saying I got myself into a hole right there with that comment, whatever. I apologize already. I'm making a comment about it. I'm not saying women
What do you
have to be
mean?
good cooks.
Are you saying that all women should be really good cooks?
No, I'm not saying anything close to that. I'm just pointing out the fact that because I want to talk about the food about that because we had a really long pause on the hamburger helper in the gas station.
Yes, and we know that she had mentioned that hamburger helper was. She didn't mention it was her specialty, but we know that she had cooked that earlier and she had offered it to Hank Larson, right?
Yeah. Yep. I have to go back and just give a quick comment to the opening song, Bashi Mwana, again, because still super awesome opening, the song and everything. So, sorry, go back to your thing. You were talking about the hamburger helper.
So, yeah, we'll get a little bit into that tomorrow, which will be pretty fun. Special bonus episode.
Boom.
But I just want to get back to the title of the episode. Loplop refers to this artist Max Ernst, and
more German stuff.
Yeah, he created this character Loplop sort of as an alter ego, which was portrayed through a series of prints and collages and paintings, and it was like this bird-like character. So we're assuming that the title of the episode is in reference to the fact that all these characters are taking on alter egos. Now we can portray this a few different ways.
Sure.
We have Peggy taking on her alter ego through her LifeSpring bullshit and, actualizing and becoming this character that's part of a relative truth.
Right.
A truth that's not based on reality. We have Ed Blomquist taking on the character of the Butcher of Laverne. He's so great in taking on this character because it's not like he's this big tough guy sort of actualizing himself into this Butcher of Laverne, but he's using it to his advantage. He's just like, yeah, this is me, I'm the Butcher of Laverne. Even though he's not really like this tough guy character, he's using it to his advantage. He's not actually thinking he's this character, but he's taking it on. Still,
he's currently in a rented tuxedo, basically.
Yes, that's
you know what
a great
I mean.
Way to put it. Yeah,
it's not really him, and eventually he's gonna have to return it.
He's gonna have to return it tomorrow morning, way earlier than he wants to, and pay the $100.
Yeah, something tells me he didn't take out the insurance on it.
He's feeling that polyester on his thighs still.
Yeah. So there's two sides to a whole bunch of things, but I think it's mostly about Peggy. Because I do think Kirsten Dunst had a fantastic episode this week, and I do think it's the different sides of her, the different sides of the life she's always wanted. But now I still keep thinking about when you talked about her treating Dodd like a baby and feeding him. Even it was almost like a high chair scene to me, and I didn't know. Well, I didn't notice that until you said it. I mean, I agreed with it. I was like, oh yeah. But deep down, I thought about it yesterday. Even I was like, oh man, that was a pretty astute thing to notice, but. But I just think here's the deal. This is going to sound horrible, but she's that person who, if she had kids, she'd eventually crack and load them into the car and drive into the river kind of lady.
Oh, yeah, totally. I totally feel that.
She scares the shit out of me, and I think because of that is still why Dodd says, she's crazy, keep her, she's crazy, keep her away from me, and that's when, and then he's all like, oh, I kind of know she's nuts. Hey, hun, you got to stop stabbing him. But I do think that there's not a alter ego necessarily, but there's a two-sided thing to Hansi in this episode. I mean, he's actually Dodd without the drama. He's better at what he does, and yet he's in many ways. I realized that the two-sided thing was that he's a Native American, and he's being kind of shit all over at this local bar by these guys, and yet he fought side by side with these people, and they're disrespecting him still. And I think that so it's, I'm this guy over here. When I'm fighting, I'm okay, but the minute I'm back here, I'm not okay. So it's still like this two-sided. I don't think it's an actual alter ego, and it's completely paralleled in his relationship with the Gerhardt family and with Dodd, especially because he's doing all this stuff. He showed up. He went all this way to get Dodd, and the minute he gets there, he calls him a mongrel and did you call him half-blood or half-breed?
Half-breed, yep.
Half-breed, yeah. I think that's just when he also, things get loose, and so much for Kiss My Grits. I saw that written somewhere, so I didn't think of that. I just kind of bummed I never got to see him say it. Just for Simone. I miss you, Simone.
I miss you, Simone. Call me.
So I don't know. Sorry, we're just we're basically going to just go on like tangents about stuff tonight is our actual plan, because I think that's what this episode was just about getting all these things lined up. We had an episode like this last season as well, where it's everything about it is great. Or we're too dense to see the deeper meaning.
We're pretty dense.
Past us.
I
wouldn't put that past us. We did have some fun going back and looked at a few other things I noticed in the could you figure this out just from a random standpoint? The guy's got a cash register, but he writes it all down in a little book.
Yeah. I don't know. Is that like a trust thing for him?
Maybe he's skimming. But if you notice when he does that, the only thing on the map on the counter I noticed on the second watch was that Sioux Falls is also right smack dab showing in that counter.
Yes. Yeah, so if you own the show, just take a look back and watch that scene again, because it's really interesting. There's a lot of stuff going on in the background, and especially that Sioux Falls reference. Time and time again.
And we've seen a lot of great props throughout the episode that are pretty natural for the environment. The Leinenkugels, the Old Dutch. So you ascertained that it was barbecues. There's a couple other varieties too.
The Hamburger Helper.
What was you said you figured out what the game was, or you thought you heard what the game was in the background?
Yeah, so in the background of that scene where Ed is talking to the convenience store clerk, there's obviously a game going on the radio in the background. And it's very tough to hear, but we've been listening to it over and over and over again, and there's definitely a reference to North Dakota and definitely a reference to second period. Mm-hmm. Where the announcer says it's the second period and North Dakota something, and then it kind of goes into this inaudible audio. But right. I assume that is a reference, or that is a recording to a Sioux hockey game. Specifically because they're talking about a period, so that must be hockey, because hockey is at 3 periods. And to reference North Dakota, there's no North Dakota State University hockey team. There's only University of North Dakota hockey team, which is the Fighting Sioux.
The Fighting Sioux.
Well, was the Fighting Sioux. So for those that don't know, the Sioux hockey program is a very successful hockey program, which is located in Grand Forks, North Dakota, which is about an hour north of Fargo, North Dakota. And it's a very successful hockey program, formerly in the WCHA, because I don't think the WCHA exists anymore.
I don't know if it does either. And
pardon me if I'm out of date on that, because I haven't been around for a while. But they've been a phenomenal hockey program, and they still are a phenomenal hockey program. And they're the Fighting Sioux, and they've been going through a battle with the NCAA for quite a few years now to eliminate that name, the Fighting Sioux, because the Lakota or the Lakota tribe is the modern name for the Sioux tribe, and there's sort of been a battle between that name and a lot of Indian or Native American names in sports. So they just recently changed the name of that team within like the last couple days to the Fighting Hawks, which, whatever. I don't care.
And this concludes another episode of Fun Facts with Charpie.
Well, I'm just saying. Hey, we're giving our perspective from the area.
I know. I'm just giving you a hard time.
I love the hockey. I love the hockey program. I've been watching them for my entire life. Everybody in North Dakota is proud of the Sioux hockey program. They've been successful for a long time, and now they are the Fighting Hawks. And I'm so glad that they finally come to a name, and I think everybody should just accept it.
Deal with it.
Deal with it.
It's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. Hey, I want to give a couple quick shout-outs to some people that I know have sent in some email. I do also, thinking again, we had talked about, I was thinking again, too, about Hansi in the hotel room with Constance, and he's not leaving anyone behind.
You don't think so?
Yeah, she's dead.
You think?
I think it's just
dead?
one more, and I think here's why I think so, because I was going back and I was reading some email we've brought up Gretchen before, so thanks again, Gretchen, for the stuff. But she was saying, that Simone was dead, and that I was like, well, we didn't see it, but thinking back, I think I was the one who said, they don't show us things we don't have to see. You know what I mean? Right. They don't have to show us everything. Like, here's me putting the key in the ignition. Here's me turning the ignition. We never see Joe Bulo killed.
Yeah, that's correct.
And so we didn't see Simone get killed. So I don't think we
didn't see Otto get killed.
Oh yeah, true. We don't have to see. I don't think we have to see Constance get killed. But
we'd like to see Ricky G get killed.
I'm thinking she's dead. And I'm curious to find out if she is or isn't, because we're going to get to Sioux Falls, and that's where she is, and Peggy hasn't seen her. So we'll see. I'm going to go with she's dead. And we also got a nice email from Chad, who actually a listener in Fargo here, who chimed in on Hansi's haircut. He's mostly thinking, sorry if I'm paraphrasing you here, Chad, but he just thinks he's just trying to avoid getting seen because people have seen him now. Hey, long-haired Native American gentleman. That he thinks it was just a part of no, I need to get a haircut, and he's telling the story about that just to keep Ed and Peggy kind of calm. Good theory. It could work.
Yeah, it's a good theory.
I think it could be all of it.
I'm looking forward to getting to Sioux Falls. I think we all are.
I think we're going to have to.
And
There's only 2 episodes left. I don't. Tell me why.
I want some of that Chislick.
You're really going to bring up Chislick?
I went home for Thanksgiving, as many of you may have learned from the hot dish. And there are a few places in Fargo and a few places outside of Fargo where you can get a dish called Chislick.
Wait, there's a place in Fargo you can get Chislick?
Yes, the old Broadway.
No way.
Yeah. I think that's actually the only place in Fargo.
I've seen it like on like a menu, like as it's a special thing, but
yeah, probably not. No, but I actually had Chislick outside of Fargo, about an hour outside of Fargo, at our lake cabin in Minnesota. But Chislick is a dish that originated from Sioux Falls, I believe. I believe Sioux Falls is the origination.
Okay, hold on. Typing Chislick, which is Chislic.
That's correct.
Chislick. Okay, here you go. Wikipedia.
So what it is, it's sort of like...
Yep, commonly localized to the state of South Dakota.
There you go. A serving of beef Chislick at a restaurant in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. if for those that don't know, Chislic is slowly spreading across the United States, and by I mean slowly, I mean at a snail's fucking pace, man. I mean, it's been like 50 years, and it's made it to Rapid City, maybe.
Yeah.
But what it is it's like these like little beef tips, okay, like little chunks of beef, and traditionally you take these little tiny little beef tips and you deep fry them in because
America.
Yeah, because America. And then they're served in like a paper boat. It's like a bar food.
Yeah, and but I mean, Chislic, when people ask me what it is, I usually just tell them we basically stole like souvlaki, didn't put it on a skewer, and we just deep fried it.
Yeah, it's just like
it's
chunks
marinated,
of beef.
right? Just like a good.
It can be. It doesn't have to be, but it comes out medium rare. Yet it's deep fried, and usually each little tip has like a little toothpick in it, and you dip it in like a blue cheese sauce or something like that. It's a bar food. It's a shitty food, but it's a comfort food. So if you are in the area of South Dakota, get yourself some Chislic.
I have no idea how to get this show on the rails right now.
Well, I'm just
Hey, we fully admitted coming in that we just think all the pieces are lining up. So we're just talking and we're giving.
This all has to do with Chislic, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, and we're building up our strength. We're actually recording. So I mean, if you're listening to this is not the last episode you're going to get from us this week. There will be another episode this week too, with Maggie Phillips, the music supervisor. We have a scheduled time tomorrow. I don't know if I'll get it out that night.
Are you already making excuses for this episode?
A little bit. I feel like I might be. Hold on, let me check the bottom of this glass. Yeah, that does taste like.
I think
Jameson.
people need to know about Chislic.
I don't know why you brought it up. How did you get there?
Because I just had it like 2 days ago. It was awesome.
Where did you have it?
I had it at a restaurant called Spanky's in Minnesota.
Oh, I thought you were going to tell me you had it in Rapid City, South Dakota, on your way home, because I'm going to be in Rapid City. Because I'd go get some Chislic.
I think you could maybe find it. There's an excellent little dive bar in Sioux Falls that has awesome Chislic. I don't recall the name, though.
Well, I'd like to correct myself from last week's episode as well.
Okay.
I thought I had a wood chipper sighting.
Redemption?
Wood chipper sighting? Not so much. It just was the tractor, like the lawn tractor.
This is not like the beer sighting. This is the actual wood chipper.
Wood chipper, I thought I sighted the wood chipper when Hansi was driving out to the lake or to the cabin, and it was just the front end you would put on a lawn tractor to blow snow.
Classic Limpy.
Just being honest. Hey, let's use this time real quick here to thank Fargo Brewing.
Okay.
Fargo Brewing, episode 8. We've been saying the same thing over and over. I don't know how to say anything else, except that we do really, really like their beer. We do drink it. We are friends with the guys. And I think you need to go to fargobrewing.com and check it out. Plus, you can see, the Facebook page, they've got their Oktoberfest cans on the front page right now, which are beautiful. And if you like the way they look, you can give Charpie a shout out because he designed those. But here's the deal. There's an event coming up at the Côte de Prairie Lodge. They have a beer dinner going on January 7th at 12 a.m. Apparently it says 12 a.m. Somebody needs to fix that on the website. I'll have to tell one of the guys. But no, they put on all sorts of really great things at the Coteau de I'm saying it wrong. Whatever. It's in Havana, North Dakota, which is a funny name. But you should go to their site and check it out. I mean, Fargo Brewing wins a medal at the Great American Beer Festival. You can find out their entire story about how they came together. 2 different groups of guys that were planning on microbrewing and craft brewing got together, and now there's 4 of them, and they just said, hey, let's all just pair up. But they're fantastic. We really do enjoy their beer, and Wood Chipper couldn't be a better beer for a Fargo podcast. So please visit fargobrewing.com. End of ad. And now I will drink not Fargo Brewing beer. Sorry, guys. What else do you want to talk about?
Well, we learn a little bit more about Peggy and her LifeSpring experience.
Yeah.
We talked about this a little bit on the hot dish, where she's really getting into this actualization mode.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where she's
Except
like,
she can't seem to actually pay attention.
I mean, she's always had this lack of a grasp on reality, and now it's more than ever. And I feel like we say that every episode.
Mm-hmm.
But as we said in the hot dish, we're learning a little bit more about this LifeSpring bullshit, where she's...
You really don't like LifeSpring, do you?
Well, it's creepy as hell the more you read about it.
There's a lot of creepy stuff about things like that.
Yeah, I mean, it is the business of religion and whatnot.
All right.
Because that's essentially what it is. It's a religion.
Well, you okay?
I mean, right? Am I not right?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm not gonna.
So
I want to just see where you take this.
What we learn is that in LifeSpring, you are trying to get to your core. And to get to your core, you have to break yourself down. And this is what they do in these LifeSpring conferences. And you pay money to get your basically your personality, your whole self broken down to this raw state where they can then take advantage of you. Because when you go to something like this, it's much like Scientology, like we said in the hot dish, where you tell somebody basically everything you could ever imagine about yourself. And you admit everything wrong you've ever did. You admit everything you ever feel wrong about. You admit everything. You just you admit everything. You just spill your guts.
Uh-huh.
So that this is all on record now for somebody that can potentially take advantage of you for. And that's what they use it for. They use it for like bribery and shit like that. So, but you do this to essentially get to what they call your core. And once you get to your core, you can start actualizing your what you're truly meant to be. And so that's what we see Peggy doing. We see her believing that she's like, her life is now, she's becoming actualized. She's becoming what they meant to truly be. This is what her and Ed meant to be this is what they have meant to be doing. We're meant to be doing the entire time, like on this adventure together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where they're not trapped in their home, where Ed says, we weren't trapped. That was our home. Like, why are you talking about being trapped?
He was like, hey, simmer down there. That's not what I thought.
Yeah. So we learn a little bit about that. We move into this letter on her fridge from Constance about can't wait to see you at LifeSpring, right?
Yes.
And that's where we learn her last name.
Yeah, Mrs. Heck or Ms. Heck.
Ms. Heck.
I caught that. Did you notice that she has the same postcard, the California postcard,
yes,
on the fridge as she does by the phone?
Yep.
Yeah. Can't tell if that's on purpose or what I was trying to figure. Oh, okay. Did you read the LifeSpring thing on the fridge?
Yes. Have you been feeling of...
Oh, we're both doing it. Have you been feeling out of sorts? Are you not feeling like yourself? Always searching for something else? In a single weekend, you will be, transformed into a being that is fully aware, enabling you and something, your own me, bringing about an awareness, something, personal control of your flex patterns. Is that what it says?
I think so.
And satisfied, a satisfied and better you. And then the other brochure says 30 hours, 1 weekend, fully actualize your me, become a better you.
Be it.
Just 30 hours, no big deal.
Only
in a weekend. In a weekend, like what are they? That's 30 hours. I mean, that means you're like doing that shit for like 12 hours a day.
Yep.
Whew.
And in the meantime, practicing your scissoring.
Exactly.
I mean, like, for the barbershop or the...
Yeah, we just geeked. We just geeked bad. We just read them the refrigerator, which is one small thing, but still fun. Still fun to see all that stuff. It's the details that matter. What else, Charpie? Tell me other stuff.
So
did you ever get to the bottom of your the over the bar, like the kind of
so
you know what I realized they were?
What?
Oh,
are you gonna tell me you figured this out?
Yeah, I just figured it out.
Oh, god damn it! I spent like 3 hours on this shit.
Well, let me tell you what I think it is.
Okay.
They're for branding horses and cattle.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm not gonna lie. I just pulled it up in front of me, and the minute I was gonna ask you about it, I decided to scroll to it. And the minute I saw it, I was like, "Oh, that's like ranch stuff."
Yeah, that's definitely ranch stuff. So
sorry, Charpie.
So what I was doing was I was looking up quite a few Native American languages and trying to find the similar symbols. And
Did you look that up before you actually just paused the show?
I paused the show and I looked at all the symbols, and then I researched many Native American languages, and I also had the other episode with Hank's hieroglyphics, or whatever you want to call them.
Okay, yeah.
And tried to find similarities there. And I researched many Native American languages, and I went through every goddamn symbol, and I couldn't find any. I couldn't find any that matched. So then what I did was I drew out each symbol that was above the bar, and I took a picture of it, and then I did a reverse Google image search to see if reverse Google image search would pull up a similar symbol.
You are kind of a freak.
Yes. And it was to no avail. I found nothing.
And I like you when I'm saying that. I'm like, you're a fucking weirdo.
You should see this collection of awesome symbols I have, though, now.
Your office must look like Hank's.
It does. It does.
Oh, God.
I am an idiot. Well, I tried.
Well, I guess that makes me wish you had just said, "Hey, Bill, did you look at that yet?" And I would have said, "No, let me look real quick." And then I would have been like, "Oh, yeah, that's for branding cattle." Yeah. I could have saved you so much time.
I think I wanted it to be something that it wasn't, more so than I wasn't taking like an objective look at it.
Holy shit.
I was taking
Charpie.
A subjective look at it.
So while we're talking, I'm just talking. I'm just scrolling through the show. I love looking at the background.
You can pull your pants back up.
I'm at 31:30. We missed so many things.
We haven't missed shit.
He's walking up to the counter at the general store gas station. He's got his goods smack dab between the two of them. On one of the shelves at the top, there's a whole bunch of rope tied in little noosey knots, and then 4 shelves below it are a bunch of hatchets, which is exactly what Peggy used to get him down.
31:30.
Go to 31:30 if you guys own this. And we also, at one point when she was in the bathroom, and she closed the door at the cabin. There was like a noosey thing hanging on the door handle too.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Love those details. What a great show. Dear Fargo people, I love you. Yeah, and it's like, does that have to be there?
It's literally a shelf of nooses and hatchets.
Pretty much. I don't know what the other stuff is.
Doesn't matter. It's nooses and hatchets.
Right?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Fun. Just turns out that I just happened to stop there. Anyway, we are really just all over the map. I think this, yeah, so if you go ahead just like a teensy bit to when she goes to call Constance from the toilet, the WC, when she shuts the door, look, there's a noose. There's the rope thing is on the handle, a smaller rope. So we know it's coming. We just all missed it. Whatever. Oh God, it's just, this episode is it's shot so beautifully. The set is dressed so well. The color grading is awesome. The split screen stuff with everybody on the phone with Ed in the middle in this really cool blue light, and Peggy and her future lover on the other side, and they're in that yellow light. It's just everything about it's great. I think sometimes people should go back and watch a few of these episodes with
I think just
like
the split
sound
screen,
off.
the split screen, the initial split screen between Peggy and Ed while they're driving the car is beautiful.
I just realized they did that focus thing twice, I think. There's one where Peggy's in the bathroom and Dodd's quite in focus compared to what he should be.
Yeah, that's
great.
the one I was talking about.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I was thinking about your example was the one thing, yeah. Here's my favorite. It
did show up twice, but there was some cuts in between.
My favorite thing is that you know that she's zoned out into this TV show, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know she's zoned out. That camera, that was The Shining when she's smoking the cigarette and she never ashes, and it just drives people crazy that she doesn't ash. If you've ever been a smoker, you know what I'm talking about? That scene from The Shining.
Mm-hmm.
That camera was moving so flippin' slow around Peggy to reveal. You knew Ed was gone, Ed. You knew Dodd was gone, but you just couldn't get to it because that camera moved way slower.
Yeah, it's driving you crazy.
That's great though. That's the thing I love about that.
That's storytelling. That's controlling the audience.
We're just gonna egg you on.
Yep.
We're just gonna just wait for it. It's the hold steady. But yeah. Two other things to talk about.
When she's before she gets that TV tuned in, there's a little shot of a beetle on the television. Do you recall that?
Yeah.
And it's sort of going in and out. Do you think that has to do with anything? Because everything in this show seems to be intentional, and I have a feeling that means something, but I don't know what it is. There's a beetle on the screen as the static comes in and out, and she's trying to adjust the bunny ears. And Dodd's looking over there, and I don't know if that has to. I don't know what that means, but I feel that it does represent something.
Yeah,
because everything seemed intentional. They could have put anything on that screen, and they put a beetle.
Yeah, I guess I didn't think about that. I'm glad you noticed that. You should sketch it out and then draw it and then put it into reverse Google image search. Yeah.
That's what I'll do.
Yeah. I haven't had time. I'm going to pause eventually on the Clay County Post paper though, where we see the manhunt's underway for Hansi. Did you notice though we've been talking about what season it is. It's definitely March. Yeah, and 46 and 28 was the temperature. And that the satellite is recording Antarctica. Little comment on global warming.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to go back and look at the word find.
A couple comments on global warming.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which was interesting because prior to this year, in the early 70s, the very talk was about global cooling.
Oh.
Which is somewhat interesting. I don't know if anybody remembers that. I obviously wasn't alive because I'm young and awesome. You were probably in your 20s.
Well, I was 80.
Yeah, you were 20 or 80 or something like that.
Uh-huh. One of those.
So you must remember in the early 70s there was a big talk about global cooling.
Okay, I was not alive in the early 70s. Give me a break.
But that is true.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. And how that's becoming more relevant today, obviously. Especially with the store clerk mentioning briefly how what was he talking about? His wife is heating up the earth with her hairspray or something like that.
Yep, spraying with all her aerosols and
her Aquanet.
Yes. I'm going to use this moment to take our last sponsor break before we kind of give our final chat about this. So you guys are not super deep episode, so if you're mad about that, sorry, but this year we have an affiliation with audible.com. So if you want to help us out, they don't give us any dough. Only if people sign up for the trial do we make a few bucks, which isn't much. But we also do like recommending it because I am a paid subscriber. I don't know about you, Charpie, but I have an Audible subscription myself. I've had it prior to us signing up for this. But if you go to audibletrial.com/Fargo Talks Fargo and sign up for an Audible trial, you get a free 30-day trial. And with that, you get a credit. And with that credit, you can get a book. We've been recommending books all season long. And generally, we've been recommending like really long books. You know, so for your one credit, you can get like 18, 20-hour books, which are fantastic. And you're already listening to podcasts, so it's very obvious you're into this kind of thing. So I highly recommend you just go and check it out and see what it's all about. It's the best way to do it. And if you're already a Kindle reader, they use Whisper Sync between the two. So wherever you leave off reading, you can pick up in your car or on your run or riding your bike if you live somewhere that isn't cold as shit like Fargo. And you can, it'll just start reading the story to you, and it's read beautifully by great people. And Charpie, this week is your recommendation. What would you like to do?
Yes, I can give my recommendation. This week, actually, this weekend.
Are you actualizing this week?
I actualized this book. I actually read it over the holiday. It's something I've been meaning to get to, and it's based off of a book that most people have probably read or listened to. Which is Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People. Now, this is an old book that is a classic, and most people kind of know the gist of. But what something that I've been meaning to get to was the updated version, which is How to Win Friends and Influence People in the Digital Age. And for those that aren't familiar with either of these books, I mean, it's a short listen, 7 hours. It basically just teaches you how to be a better person, essentially, and how to like communicate more effectively, how to win friends and influence people, I guess. It basically just teaches you how to be more positive and not be such a negative nego.
Well, there you go.
That's it.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Hey,
listen to it.
Then do that. So go to audibletrial.com/Fargo Talks Fargo and sign up for a free 30-day trial. Here's what I'm excited for next week.
Okay.
I'm excited for more Mike Milligan.
Okay.
Really, really excited to hear what Hank says about a dead Dodd on the floor in front of him with Peggy and Ed standing over him. He's, between this is a deal and all the smart ass remarks Hank's been making all season.
Yeah, what will his first line be?
Yes.
That will be really interesting.
I'm really excited for that. I'm excited.
Let's throw out some predictions. If you have a prediction for what Hank Larson's first line will be when he notices a dead Dodd.
Hashtag Hank says.
Hashtag Hank says.
Yeah. I think that I have a couple concerns. I'm worried that the hug between, for the most part, outside of like maybe like finishing up in episode 10, I'm really worried we're done with any deep, long scenes with Carl Weathers.
Yeah, probably.
So I think his long goodbye with Betsy was his long goodbye on the show.
Yep, I think you're right.
So hats off to you, Carl Weathers. I thought you were awesome. We already know there's a whole bunch of dead people, but I think there's a whole lot of toughness that's going to be coming from Gene Smart as Floyd. I think Hansi's going to go down has to go down in some sort of blazing way because Dodd didn't.
I don't think Hansi's going to go down.
You don't? Oh, I think most of them are going to be dead.
No, Hansi's not going down. Hansi's going to survive.
I think Hank's going to die, unfortunately.
Hank's going to die, unfortunately.
So what are you looking...
I think Hank's going to die specifically because of the emotion in the future Lou Salverson regarding Sioux Falls. Lou Salverson's recollection of Sioux Falls in season 1, you know that it was disastrous to him, and I think it's
enough to drive him to be a cook at a diner.
Yeah, probably a main part of that was losing his father-in-law, whom which he respected quite a bit. So I don't think Hank's gonna make it. I do think Hansy's gonna make it. I do think Bear's gonna make it.
Well, we know Charlie probably makes it. He's safe behind bars. I know who's coming in. I guarantee you we got to have, what's his name? Hamish. His name is escaping me, so sorry. The actor who plays him, who's got the shaved head, the guy running the Kansas City show. I mean, the Undertaker's dead. He's going to show up, I think. Don't you think? Do you think the guy has to show up to clean up a mess? No, maybe not. Maybe it's going to stay open as season 2. Kansas City. Fargo season 2. Or season 3. Here's the deal. I want season 3.
We'll have those predictions later.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I mean, you can make them as much as you want.
Nope. I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna put that in the crock pot and let it simmer.
Okay.
So I don't know. I think that's what we've got coming next week. I think we're gonna have 2 pretty.
Do you think we're gonna be in Sioux Falls by next week, or do you think that'll be episode 10?
I don't know, because we had kind of a halvesy overlappy. We spent about
halvesy overlappy.
Halvesy overlappy. That's what it's called when you go back in time a little bit to figure out what happened with somebody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's what Wikipedia says.
Yeah, under halvesy overlappy. That's a hyphenated word. Halvesy with an S, not a Z. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I know I'm excited. I'm excited to get to the end of this, but I'm not, because then Fargo's over. Then it's over.
And then we're just podcasting about what we did this week.
Yeah, well, usually our conversations are incredibly empty and drunken. Mostly just you and I crying on the phone to each other about how much we miss each other.
Maybe we should just continue the podcast and see what happens.
Just Fargo talks Fargo, so when the show's not on, we just talk about stuff.
We just talk about stuff.
How was your week? You mean
We've
that's
done
not
it
what
before.
we're doing tonight?
Folks, typically we recorded for multiple hours past what we've actually aired before.
What do you mean?
Like, we recorded the Fargo Talks Fargo and then just stopped and kept recording for hours. Yeah. That would be the podcast.
Yeah.
It'd be incredibly boring. And I'll stop talking.
They'd hate it. So let's just hope that this week was just fun to listen. And, I mean, we talked about this before the show started. I feel like I shouldn't be apologizing for it. We talked about this. This was actually the plan coming into this. We didn't just show up and click record. This is what we planned on. Because sometimes too, I still have that thing where I have a lot of people, and feel free to chime in on this too. So you can follow us at Fargo Talks Fargo on Twitter, facebook.com/Fargo Talks Fargo, or you can follow Charpie on Twitter at CHARPIE, or me at LEM as in Mary, P as in Paul, E. Now that I just gave those out, I forgot. Oh, I have some people who tune in, and people who know us that are interested in the show, and they're just like, oh, I can't think that deep about a show. And I said, you don't have to. I said, sometimes it's just fun to listen to parts of it, Hey, so by the way, shout out to anyone who's listening in Rochester, Minnesota. I know there's a few of you, because my friend works with some of you, and he swears he hears my voice echoing through a warehouse or something sometimes. So, whoop, whoop, Rochester. Love that town.
Whoop, whoop.
Boop, boop, beep, bop, boop. But yeah, I mean, sometimes it's just fun to watch.
Yeah,
and I think totally. I think this show, whether you go deep or shallow, is a fantastic show. I've had a few skeptics. My buddy Linz, he wasn't. I don't know. I think he was. I mean, sorry, Lindsay, but I feel like he was stuck on Lauren Malvo a lot. And upon some rewatching, he admitted over the weekend that he really is kind of seeing that this season is really good. I think this season has been better and stronger, from episode 1.
I think this season's better than last season.
Yeah, doesn't mean that. And so in an age
That
of
doesn't
internet,
mean last season wasn't good.
there you go. That's
But
exactly what I was gonna say. In the age of the internet, if you tell somebody something's better than something, that means you think the other thing sucks. And I'm like, you know what? I like cheeseburgers and chicken fingers. They're both good. I
thought last season was incredible.
I think so
last
too.
episode, though, I mean, hats off
Yeah, this
to
one's the
the
bomb for
whole
you.
production team, the directors, the cinematographers, the set designers, prop masters, musicians.
I'd venture to say this episode
God.
relied very heavily on Jeff Russo's very gentle touch, but masterful. Outside of the opening song, right?
I think so. Yep.
Outside of Bashi Mwana,
I think that was.
I don't think we. The rest, no, man.
Song.
He had that drum corps again this week.
Yes, he did.
Just that solid driving thing, which tight as shit, man. It was awesome. So, I don't know.
I have an announcement to make.
Oh, goo.
We have, and I mentioned this briefly on the hot dish, but if you are in the Denver area, there is a restaurant in the Highlands Ranch area that is wishing to do a finale party, a finale viewing party, that is. And we'll get you more details as they come about, but the restaurant is Bezo Tapas and Wine Bar in Highlands Ranch in Littleton, Colorado, which is just south of Denver. They are going to do an event to view the final episode of Fargo. They're looking for about 30 to 40 people to join them. They're going to do a full Coen Brothers themed menu. We're talking like beef stroganoff and chicken. No, Swedish meatballs or buffalo stroganoff, actually. Buffalo stroganoff, Swedish meatballs. They're going to do some white Russians or some, what do you call them? Caucasians.
White Russians.
Yep. So they're looking to have a finale viewing party at Bezos Tapas Bar in the Denver area. So if you are around on the finale episode, check that out. I think I'm going to go down there and bring down some Fargo Brewing Company swag with me. So we'll get you more details as that would be out.
This is going to be the 14th, right?
I believe so.
Right? 10 episodes. Also, hey, the other thing that makes this season great, you know what else?
15th.
You know what makes this season great? FX. Just saying, hey, what length do you feel like making your show this week? The last episode was like 90 minutes of like broadcast TV.
I know. It's amazing that they just don't give a fuck. They're just
but I just love the fact that makes me
we're
want to
gonna end it whenever it's over.
Before we call it here, so just in sheer, why doesn't iTunes tell you that? Sorry, Waiting for Dutch is 57 minutes compared to this week and of course I'm getting the pinwheel of death right now. Thanks, computer. Okay, screw it. Dumb facts, doesn't matter. But anyway, that's what I love. Oh, here. Loplop is weighs in at
they're usually
hour 3.
Yeah, they're usually all about an hour.
Yeah. I just like that they can do it.
With commercials takes you to about an hour and 25 minutes.
Yeah.
But I assume that last episode will be the 14th. So
yeah. So
we'll get you more details as they come through.
There's something I didn't bring up to you that I need to bring up. But we got an interesting email as well today about something that I think we might be able to be giving away to some of our listeners in the upper of 48. I'll talk to you about it after the show. Don't let me forget.
Okay.
That's the other thing, is that so please keep your comments coming. We really, really do enjoy your emails. So thanks again so far this season to Chad, Ruben, Gretchen, James, Daryl. I'm scrolling through the list really fast. Mackenzie, Yeah, there's been plenty. We've had a lot more email this year than we have in past. And I think it's fantastic. So podcast at fargotalksfargo.com if you want to drop us a line. But the other way, if you want to do it directly, is just hit us up on social. We've been loving the comments we've been getting there too. Oh, that reminds me. Before I go, so Charpie, outside of you guys need to go check out Chislick. Yeah. Oh yeah. Bob George. We didn't talk a lot about it, but the pee scene is pretty awesome. As childish as Charpie and I are, I can't believe we didn't talk about the fact that Ed needed a towel to touch the guy's dick.
Man, I need a towel to touch that guy's dick.
And I was sitting there thinking, my only thought with that was, man, that'd be really hard to do while you're sitting with all that rope. I was like, you'd have to put your business at like a right angle just to get it pointed into that teapot or whatever it was they were going into. Charpie's shaking his head right now for you guys that don't know that. He's like, stop, Bill, don't. Either way, Bob thought that pissing scene was one for the ages. Hashtag FargoFX.
I'd be
so anyway,
straight up.
Yeah. Oh, it'd just be like right in your face. Straight out of like the Irene. What was that? Me and Myself and Irene.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Here's what I wanted to talk about. Jack.
That
Bulkley.
Reminded you?
Jack Bulk. Nope. I just opened Twitter real quick because I knew I was forgetting something. Jack Bulkley made an incredible point that I think is awesome. We've been talking about Simone's references to pop culture, and Jack says Simone's pop culture references are in contrast to Mike Milligan's highbrow references.
Interesting.
It's fucking perfect. It is. It really, truly is. They're the odd couple.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for that.
So thanks. Yeah, thanks for that comment. So I think on that, we're going to wrap it.
Okay.
All right. Until next week.
Yeah, we'll be recording a show tomorrow. So.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So until a couple more days, and I'll get another one. I'll get it edited and back out. So thanks for tuning in, folks. Charpie. Till next time.
Till next time. Beep, boop, boop.